Hey, this is Jason with WPGraphQL, and I wanted to show an update to some work I'm doing on WPGraphQL Subscriptions. So subscriptions are the ability for a client to subscribe to events that happen in WordPress and ask for specific data in response. So something you can think of UIs like commenting systems where like I'm typing a comment, I click submit, the other person on the other end of the internet sees my comment, they don't have to refresh a page, things like that. Breaking news for for newspapers, for example, things like that. Collaborative editing even is a good use case for this. So subscriptions allow you to get real-time data, and you get to specify what you want. So I have one demo subscription that's working right now, so I want to show you one cool feature, and that is the ability for different clients to subscribe to different data. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a subscription. I'm going to say subscription, and then the one that I have working at the moment is a public content node publish subscription. So what happens is an event in WordPress is fired whenever a post of any post type is published, or in my case, I'm calling it a content node. So when a content node is published, an event is fired, and we can ask for what we want in response. So I'm going to ask for the ID and the type name, and then let's say we just had a stream somewhere where we wanted to show recent posts that were published, and we want their title. So we'd say node with title, and we can ask for the title, and then maybe we could ask for the date. So maybe we just had a stream, maybe in our WordPress dashboard or whatever, where we just wanted to show posts as they were published, right? So we can keep track of this. So I can create this subscription, and in response, I'm going to get a payload, I'm going to get a URL where I can subscribe to these events. So I'm going to open a new tab, and I'm going to visit that URL. And I'm going to append listen here. So this is just going to quiet down what we see. We're only going to see activity on this window if an event occurs that matches my subscription. So since we're subscribing to content node published, then I can come in here and click add new on a post, and I can say test. And before I publish this, let you see this window. So give it some content and click publish. Okay, so now we're gonna see, okay, cool, I subscribed to that and I got the exact data that I needed. But what's really cool, let's say a different part of your application. So maybe you had a stream that wanted to show new posts with their date and title, and that's it. So maybe users could just see stuff, like maybe an editor at the newspaper or whatever could just see stuff as it's published or whatever it might be. Let's say a different part of your UI needed more information. Like maybe a different part of your UI needed things like categories. So we could say on post, and then we can say categories, nodes, ID, and name. So maybe you have a component that when a new thing is published, we want the categories, and maybe on node with featured image, we want the featured image node, and we want the ID and the source URL of that. So now I can execute the subscription. I'm going to get a different URL, and I'm also going to open that in a new window. So now we have two subscriptions. I'm going to append listen to that, listen, and I'm going to make that small and move it down here. All right, so now we have two different subscriptions. One is asking for just the title, the date. This one's asking for the featured image and categories. So now I can come click add new post, and we'll say test post with category and featured image. We'll give it some random content, put it in the category GraphQL and APIs, and I'm going to give it a featured image. We'll use our handy Apollo logo from our media library. And when I click publish here, we'll see both clients are going to get a payload matching what they asked for. So I know this isn't super pretty, but the first subscription was subscribed to a payload asking for some minor data, just the ID, the type name, the title, and the date. Okay. And the next one, this is also a bug. I don't know why it says no offense found. Just ignore that for now. Yeah, so then the next one though, was asking for more information. It was asking for the ID, the type, name, the title, the featured image, the date, the categories, and each name and ID of each category, and then the featured image and the ID and the URL. So we see like our Apollo URL here. So we can have different parts of our application have specific data dependencies, and they can ask WPGraphQL for specifically the data they need in response to a WordPress event. So just wanted to show some of the cool things we can do with this technology. There's still a lot of stuff I got to figure out with how to make this work in a WordPress environment and things like that. But I'm hoping to have stuff to share and get users hands-on in the not too distant future. Thank you.